Shalom. First off, and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to the Akim out here that's doing and pushing this work in truth and in sincerity. Want to go on this video, okay, about what salvation really is, okay? And when we go into the scriptures, you got to go into the Old Testament, because the concept of salvation isn't a new thing, okay? It's not a new idea, okay? The idea of being saved in a lot of the Old Testament is usually, I'm reading it from ChatGPT, usually deliverance from immediate destruction, captivity, enemies, famine, judgment, or death. Okay? And it says not people walking around saying, I'm already eternally saved no matter what I do. Okay? And they say, because they believe in Jesus, that they're saved, from, going to hell. They'll be going to heaven in the afterlife, and it's, it's not that simple, man. Okay? Realistically, everybody on this planet, okay, is going to be, because the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Everybody will be there. Okay? Now, there will be a ruling class, okay, and there will be a serving class. The Israelites will be the rulers in the world to come. Okay, Esau is going into captivity, and there won't be anybody to save Esau from that captivity. Okay, so examples of salvation in the Old Testament, are stories that everybody done heard. Okay, everybody done read. Okay, like Noah being saved from the flood through the ark. Okay, everybody know about that. Look at the the rainbow, right, which represents, the Lord promising that He's not going to destroy the world, okay, with water, okay, or on a large scale, okay. So Genesis 7, it says the righteous were preserved while the wicked world was destroyed. Okay? So then continuing on, okay, it says Lot saved from the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay? In Genesis 19, the angels literally pulled him out before judgment fell. Israel at the Red Sea, saved from Pharaoh's army. Okay? Exodus 14, it talks about the Lord delivered them from death and slavery in Egypt. Right? Passover in Egypt, saved from the death angel. It says the blood on the doorpost spared them from judgment. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right, which was their slave name, saved from the fiery furnace. In Daniel 3, delivered physically from death by fire. Okay? It says Daniel, he was saved in the lion's den. A lot of people know about Daniel, okay, in the lion's den. Okay? It says God shut the lion's mouth. David constantly saved from Saul and enemies. It says Psalm 18 and 48, He delivers me from my enemies. Hezekiah / Jerusalem saved from the Assyrians. Okay, 2 Kings 19. Okay, it says the Assyrian army was destroyed overnight. Jonah saved from drowning by the great fish. Right? That's Jonah, the 2nd chapter. Okay. It says Rahab, right? Which Rahab isn't a Israelite, okay? But she was saved from, or spared from Jericho's destruction, okay? Continuing on, it says the widow of Zarephath, okay? It says saved from famine through Elijah, okay? It says Esther and the Jews in Persia saved from genocide under Haman, okay? Jeremiah saved from the pit or the cistern. It says a major pattern in scripture is that salvation often means rescue, deliverance, preservation, being spared from judgment, being brought out of bondage. The Hebrew word often translated slave, right, was Yahweh Shah. His name means he saves or he delivers. Okay, carries the idea of deliverance or rescue, right? It says compare that with how many modern Christians use saved as I accepted Jesus once, therefore I am permanently guaranteed heaven regardless. Yet even in the New Testament, salvation is often spoken as of something future or ongoing. Matthew 24:13, right? It says, he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we got to endure to the very end, okay? Philippians 2:12 says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, right? Because we don't know whether or not we're going to make it, okay? Whether we're going to be preserved, okay? That's why we got to, continually serve the Lord, okay? Romans 13:11. Now is our salvation nearer than when we believed, right? And that, goes into the second coming of the Messiah, the one of the world, and then we call Jesus. His real name is Yahweh Shah, okay? It says even the disciples weren't walking around casually saying, we're already fully saved. Excuse me. They still feared judgment, endured trials, and waited for final deliverance. Okay? So it says in the Bible, saved usually meant God brought you through destruction. Okay? It says modern Christianity often teaches being saved means you'll never face judgment again, no matter how you live. Okay? And, that's where they go off at, man. Okay? So, we continue on to the next one, man. But I just wanted to touch on this, this topic, about what salvation actually is. Okay, with that, I'll say shalom until next time.